Died 2022, born 2025. Welcome back, Barbarian. Hi, I'm Jack, and welcome back, because today I'm going to give you guys my review for a new movie in the year 2025 that I had the chance to go see in theaters recently. Companion, directed by Drew Hancock, and it stars both Sophie Thatcher and Quaid as the lead characters. Let me know down below in the comments, what are your thoughts on Companion? I would love to know that. And with that said, let's get started. The movie follows a weekend getaway between a couple that initially was planned to be a very nice trip to them until it goes very violently and things get really bad really quick with a whole lot of twists and turns in the making. I heard about this movie within the last 2 months. I knew it was produced by some of the same production members and the director of Barbarian, which is a movie I've seen a few years back that I loved for being a movie that I had no clue what was going to happen in it. And it was a really great and a really freaky horror movie. And ever since I found out about this movie, I was very curious to see it, especially being a fan of Sophie Thatcher and Quaid. So I came in pretty much not knowing very much about it, so I was very curious to see what was going to happen in Companion. So now that I've seen it, I am really happy to say that Companion is a great flick. It is funnier at points than I expected it to, but it is also very good at taking really cool story concepts and going in a very shocking direction with them. I'm going to try to be as vague about this movie as possible, similar to how I was with Barbarian, where I feel like it is best to watch this movie coming in knowing almost as close to nothing as possible, because there are a lot of surprises in the story and the way this movie goes into that I will bring up. So I'm going to try my best to do that. So, starting off with Companion, it is a great movie.
I like Order. It, and I love
it. It is a movie that is very good at playing with your expectations as you watch it. Where I watch this movie and initially think that maybe I know the direction that this is going to go into, and then every 5 minutes it's going to add in something that completely changes the course of what I think this movie is going into. And it is a movie with a really cool story that deals with themes about relationships, relationship abuse, and so has a lot of shocks and surprises in store. And it is a movie that left me thoroughly engaged from start to finish with a lot of the story concepts at play. And whereas Barbarian is a movie that is a full-blown horror movie, this movie isn't quite on the horror genre level, but rather it is like a psychological thriller with elements of horror in there that are still very well presented. And the cast, I thought, all did a very good job here, with Quaid and Sophie Thatcher just knocking it out of the park in this movie. Their chemistry was great. The scenes they have with one another are fantastic. And Sophie Thatcher plays Iris just so well. She has a lively presence. She has a lot of aura to her. Yes! To where she is a character who comes off as very unique from everybody else. And so is with her relationship with Quaid's character Josh and this getaway they're on. And it goes in ways that she's not expecting it to. And so is with a lot of the surprises in store that I'm going to be very cautious of what I say for it. It is a movie that really puts you in her shoes, and I think it does a really good job of building out the story to where as it goes on, it really starts to create a very well-crafted narrative of where it starts, how it continues as we go from Act 1 to Act 2 to Act 3. And it's so fresh. And even if the last act of this movie starts to bring in a little bit more of that familiarity into it, I still think it does a very good job of tying together the messages and the story ideas that this movie had. And it is just so well done. It is a movie that is also really funny at points that I wasn't expecting it to be. It balances the fine line of being pretty funny and comedic at times, while also being pretty frightening with the story ideas at play here. And I think it balances both of it so well without having one side just completely overpower the other and make some of the moments fall flat. It is just really well crafted.
Let's go. Let's go.
It is also a gorgeously shot movie with the cinematography, especially at key points. There are shots in here that are burned into my brain, and it is really well lit. It is colorful outside, and so is with how everything pops, and it's just really well done. And then on top of that, it is also a movie that just does a really good job of not feeling boring. It is a really well-paced movie from start to finish, where I was more engaged with it as it went on. It never felt like it was overstaying its welcome or going too far with its idea or doing too little. It does the right amount of it as it went on. And I was just really invested in the story that they were telling with Iris and Josh. And so as being a weekend getaway vacation that we all thought might be something that might be really cool, until things go sideways and it goes into all these crazy directions here.
What is this?
And it is just an absolute blast. It is a really, really great movie that I had a lot of fun watching. And so as being a movie where I actively was sitting there excited to see what other direction was Companion going to go into every passing minute. Drew Hancock directed this movie, and I don't know much about him, but I think that this is a very promising movie from him. As a filmmaker, I think he just knocks it out of the park here with directing how this movie gets made and how it is constructed. And so as being a really tightly, well-written narrative with a lot of plot points that feel very subtle, and I love how it's planted and how it gets paid off later on in this movie, and it really ends on a satisfying note for me with a lot of the ideas it has to play with relationships, surprises, shocks, and everything. It goes into all these things, and it does a good job at a lot of them. And if you've seen Barbarian, then you will see some of the influence from producer Zach Cregger, because he was the director of that movie, and I do feel it here, and I mean that in a good way. It does remind me of Barbarian, and I do like that a lot. And as much as I loved it, I do think with Sophie Thatcher and Jack Quaid being absolutely magnetic in this movie with some fantastically put together scenes with them, this movie was a blast. I loved it. It is funnier than I thought it was going to be, but it also has a lot of cool concepts with some great scenes with a really strong story, and I really enjoy what Companion had to offer me. If you haven't seen it, go watch this movie. Go in knowing as little as you can about it, because it is well worth your time, and it is so good. I loved Companion, so in the end, I'm going to give Companion an A-. Cannot wait to see Jack Quaid later this year with Novocaine. That is going to be a blast, and I'm also excited to see what Sophie Thatcher does after this movie, because this movie is truly incredible work from her as an actress. And to see what Zach Cregger and the crew behind this movie have in store later on, I'm definitely very interested in it, because Companion absolutely ruled. So yeah, that's my review for Companion. What are your thoughts on the movie? Let me know down below in the comment section. I'd love to know your thoughts on it. Stay tuned for some upcoming videos I have planned, and don't forget to follow me on social media. My username is down below at the bottom of the screen and in the description below, so please go do that while you're at it. And thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button and the subscribe button, and stay tuned for more.